welcome back to the B Studio, and today I'm here to review a new show, Heated Rivalry. It came out the day after Thanksgiving on HBO Max, and it was instantly a big hit. I did not watch it right away. I saw a lot of things about it on X. A lot of people saying that it was better than Stranger Things, because they kind of ran at the same time, and so it was definitely getting like a lot of attention, and it was like a hit on HBO Max. And then my cousin recommended it to me last week, so I went ahead and watched it over the big snow, the over 1 feet of snow that we got here in Indiana. I went ahead and watched that and binged it, and I loved it. It's a bit hard to get into it just because it's so raunchy, but I really enjoyed the last 2 episodes and how they tied everything together, and just the growth that the characters showed, the growth that the relationships had. I thought it's a really well done show, and it's interesting. There's not a lot of shows that have like a gay relationship as the front and center. I mean, I know there's Heartstopper. I've not watched that. I hear good things about it, but not a lot of shows that do this. So I thought they did a really good job overall. I'm excited to get into it. I mean, a lot of people are talking about it on campus. I hear people talking about it. My gender studies teacher was talking about it during class today, and she made a few interesting points that I'll kind of briefly cover through all of this. So basically, I don't really need to sum up the plot, but I mean, it's basically these 2 rival hockey stars, Shane Hollander and Ilya Rozanov, and they have a secret romance, basically. They're hiding it from everyone, and it lasts pretty much a decade, because we pick up in 2008, which is crazy. I was like 2 years old then, and it runs all the way to 2018 is where the season finale leaves off. So they've been kind of like just hooking up for 10 years, not like all the time, only when they're like playing against each other. And they have their like hurdles and whatever they're along the way, but that's just kind of like the overarching thing. Now, I've not read the books. The books are it's called Game Changers is the name of the book, and it's by Rachel Reed. I've not read the books though, and I probably will at some point. I mean, I hear they're way more raunchy, so I don't know. I have a whole, like, literally on my desk right here, I have a whole stack of books that I need to read. Right now I'm reading the Dead Poets Society book. I have a romance novel that I have to read for the gender studies class. I have, what else? A Wicked book to read. So, yeah, safe to say I have a lot of reading to do, and probably the Heat of Rivalry won't come until after all those books. So, but something to look forward to, for sure. So, like, you get drawn in because it's representing the community in a way that a lot of shows don't, or they fail at. So that's why a lot of people are really invested in this show. You have the chemistry between the 2 actors, Hudson Williams and Connor Story, and they're just magnetic together. They have great chemistry from the very beginning. And you just think of their trajectory, how they started off racing each other at the hotel gym on the exercise bikes, like 10 minutes into episode 1, all the way to the end where they're like a real couple at the cottage together. And I mean, it's crazy how much can change in 6 episodes. It's crazy. Now, considering it spanned 10 years and 6 episodes, I thought they did a pretty good job with all of that. Like, there's not many shows that can successfully portray a relationship in such a short amount of time. So I do think the fact that they had a lot of time jumps definitely helped make it more realistic, for sure. They have different personalities, obviously. It's kind of like opposites attract in a sense. You have Ilya, and he's like the instigator. He's cocky. He likes to rile Shane up. But deep down, he has this very emotional side to him, and he has a lot of family troubles at home. And then you have Shane. He's kind of the perfectionist. He's by the book. He comes from a bit more of like a normal, traditional family, per se. He doesn't want to lose his like spotless reputation, if you will. So, you have like the 2, and like you like Shane right away because he's just like, he just seems so innocent and all, and then but you also like Ilya too, because without Ilya you wouldn't have like the drama or like the suspense, or like, to the relationship. So I think they balance each other out really well. So I think the way they wrote those 2 characters was really good. Obviously you start out and Ilya is definitely the more aggressive one leading their sex. But then as it goes on, you start to see Shane instigate it more. But then they both have moments where they kind of shut out. Elia has that a lot because he's dealing with a lot. And then Shane has like those moments where he's just not really sure what's going on. I mean, it's pretty like equal. They're both like struggling and they're both not really sure what they're doing here. Now, Elia is definitely the one that like shuts out his feelings a lot more, kind of like Conrad from The Summer I Turned Pretty, if you will. And then I guess you would say Shane's a little bit more like open, like Jeremiah, but he's also like not like a party animal at all. He's very like quiet, like a good guy, not really into the party scene at all. But like probably like a bit easier to like approach and like, get along with, just because Elia has such an intense personality. And just because they start hooking up doesn't mean that their rivalry goes away. It kind of continues throughout the entire 6 episodes, basically. I mean, the finale, there's not really a whole lot of hockey in it. There's no hockey in the finale, really. It's those first 5 episodes, definitely, for sure. But at the end of the day, they still have that lingering competition between them, trying to prove that they're better than the other, and that kind of ties into their relationship, too. We get some bragging from both of them about, like, one beating the other. And, it's like entertaining and it's cute for sure. There's also this side couple. So you have Scott Hunter, another hockey player, and he's also gay. I mean, everyone's basically gay. Almost everyone is gay in this show. And he meets Kip, who works at this smoothie shop, and they have like a side relationship too. I mean, Scott's in the same place as Shane and Elia, that he can't really confess his love considering everything, and it's like, we have to wait, and Kip's like understands, but he wants to be like out and open with Scott, which I mean totally makes sense. But it was like episode 3 was like a nice change of pace, especially because the first 2 were very hot and heavy and raunchy and angsty, and then I thought it was like a good narrative shift to have episode 3 just focus on 2 new characters, and getting to know them, and like a relationship that's just a bit more simple, a break from all like the angstiness. And I mean, there's like a few, like one sex scene, but it wasn't as overly passionate as the other ones with Shane and Elia are. So again, it was like a nice change of pace to have like another like supporting couple out on the side. Of course, by doing so, at the end you have Scott inviting Kip to come out on the ice with him after they win at the end of episode 5, and they kiss in front of everyone, and that kind of prompts Elia to say he's going to the cottage with Shane. So, it definitely, I like how they incorporated the side relationship to further along the main relationship. I thought that was really cool how they did that. And yeah, so what else? So there's also a few other characters here. So you have kind of like those main 4, if you will. You have the 2 main relationships. And then you also have Rose. So Rose is like this famous actress. And basically she becomes his beard. But at first she thinks that they're like real. She really likes him. And he likes her, just not in the same way that he likes Elia. So it's just kind of awkward between them. And then Rose picks up that, you're gay. And she's the first person who really does that. And she supports him and says a problem is something you can fix, pretty much just saying like, I don't fault you for your sexuality, I'm fine with it. And they break up, but they stay friends. And yeah, so I really like how they handled that. I mean, I think it makes total sense that they would kind of have beards. And if anything, I would think they like the concept of beards would be something that would be in this type of show. I would think they would both have consistent like beards, or just someone like to be in the public with. If anything, I thought they would stay together even after they broke up, like in the public eye. But I guess just because she's a movie star and she's probably like constantly dating someone, that wouldn't really work. And she's also constantly traveling too. It was probably meant just to be like a short-term thing. But I liked how supportive she was of him, and yeah, and I like Rose a lot. I think she's a great girl. So I would gladly take her if I could. But yeah, so I liked her a lot. And yeah, again, helping Shane, being there for him. I mean, really, if she hadn't like clocked him, he would have felt even more alone and felt like nobody accepted him. So she did a lot, and I really like how they handled all of that. And then you have Svetlana. She's Ilya's childhood best friend, and they also kind of like hook up on the side from Russia. And she knows that Elia's in love with Shane, or Jane. They have Jane and Lily are their respective like nicknames for each other in their phone to act like they're straight. But she kind of knows what's going on. She's able to clock him. She just doesn't call it out like Rose does. She kind of like is like mysterious about it, not really like confrontational about it. And then by the end, she kind of knows that, you know, your love for me is not as grand or as big as your love for Jane, aka Shane. She kind of calls him out there at the end, and thanks to her, he's able to realize that he's actually in love with Shane, which is when he calls her after his dad's funeral and everything. Which I'll talk about their family lives in a second, but I like her too. You know, I think I like that it wasn't like a full-on relationship, and that it was just something that was kind of like on the side, like a friends with benefits thing. And you do kind of feel bad because in the same way as Rose, they really liked the guys like that they were with. And Svetlana, it just seemed like, you know, she like thought he was cute and she found him attractive, but she wasn't like in love with him. I mean, Rose was pretty attracted to him. So, but I liked at the end when, what was it? Elia suggests he can marry, Svetlana for citizenship, and Shane gets a little bit jealous. So I'm curious what dynamics that Rose and Svetlana will play into season 2. I think there's a lot of potential they could do there. I mean, some people are suggesting Rose and Svetlana could be a couple. I would be down for that, or just have them interact. I think they would be like fun together. So yeah, my gender studies teacher said she thought there was like a lack of like strong female characters. And I mean, I guess that's fair. I mean, I think Rose and Svetlana had good moments, but like didn't really have any strong central moments per se. They were basically just supporting the main characters. You know, they didn't have like a big moment to themselves, which I think is understandable. It just maybe in season 2 they'll delve on that and make them more central. It's just I you know, I don't know where the place would be for strong femininity in this show, just because of what the central focus is on 2 gay guys. I just don't know what that would look like, but there's definitely potential for sure. So as far as like their families, so Shane's parents, they're supportive of him. They have like a traditional family. He's an only child, so you know, he's kind of grown up spoiled. His parents are really, you know, his mom especially is a really big hockey fan. It's a bit like not overprotective, a bit controlling of him, not like overly, like I've seen way worse parents, like cough cough Dan Scott, but she's a little bit controlling of him and really wants him to be his best. And his dad's a little bit more chill with the whole thing. And then you have Elia, who's like the exact opposite. His dad is sick. Alexei has to take care of him because Elia is away playing hockey, and Alexei has a new wife and child, I guess, and he's demanding Elia for money. It's just a really messy situation, and you're just made to not like Alexei from the get-go. He's unlikable, so he's just automatically like the antagonist in Elia's life. And of course, the dad does pass away. Now, I would have liked to have seen some more scenes with Elia and his dad, to kind of develop that relationship a bit more. Maybe a scene with like all 3 of them, like the dad and the 2 sons, would have been nice too. I felt like we got so little of Elia's home life. And then like the most we got was after the funeral, when we got this confrontational scene with Elia and Alexei, and then Svetlana gets involved, which I thought that was really well acted and well done. I just would have liked to have seen a little bit more. Of course, this leads to Elia breaking down in front of Shane and speaking Russian to him, which is Shane's suggestion, which is a really sweet method that I think is kind of like underrated. If that applies to your situation in a relationship where you know another language that you can speak, sometimes just letting it all out when the other person can't understand you. I mean, in the way, it's kind of like doing that to like a stranger too. Like sometimes when someone knows what you have going on, it's harder to like not come out. It's harder to expose, like spill your life to them, basically, like let it all out to them if they know parts of it. But if they don't know anything, it can sometimes be easier, which is why that's a good thing about starting up with a therapist, is that they don't know anything about you, so you could just have free range, and they're not going to judge you either. So I liked how that like kind of applied to this situation with Shane and Elia too. So, and then so the actual like presence of hockey itself, I would have liked to have seen more of the sport. You know, I have a friend who's into hockey, and as a youth group, we went to 2 Indy Fuel games. And I like hockey. It's like a fun game. But there really just wasn't much actual playing time. I mean, we saw like a lot of like matches that lasted for like 2 minutes. Of course, we saw Shane get hurt in episode 5 that sends him to the hospital, and we saw Shane and Scott have a fight on the ice in episode 3. But beyond that, like, we just didn't really see a lot of actual playing time. And in a show like Friday Night Lights, football is so essential to the plot. The dynamics with playing and the players and the opposing team, it's so essential. But then you have here, it's not, it feels like the secondary thing. Everything else comes before the actual sport itself. I mean, the biggest thing about the sport is how they have to hide that they're gay because of the sport. I would have liked to have seen more stuff, actual playing time, though, because I do enjoy hockey. So maybe in season 2, we'll get a bit more of that. I don't know, though. The acting was great. I really enjoyed the acting. I thought everyone did a great job. Even, like, Alexi, who you don't root for, I thought he was good. I don't think there was a single bad actor or actress in all of this. And the writing was pretty solid, too. I mean, again, the first few episodes are kind of hard to get through if you're just not into like the sex and all that, because it is very explicit. And then, I mean, it's pretty explicit all the way throughout. But then once the relationship kind of deepens, you start to like really root for them. And I mean, you see like them kind of like being vulnerable towards each other. You have Elia breaking down in Shane's arms and then spilling everything to him on the phone in Russian. And then you have Elia showing up to Shane's parents to support him after they find out that they're together. Both great scenes, by the way, or like great stories. So I mean, especially Elia's character development too. I mean, after everything he went through with his dad and Alexi and everything, to be able to be there for Shane when he came out to his parents was like really good character development for him. And Shane took risks too. I mean, getting with Rose was a risk, and it ended up backfiring for Rose's sake. But he took a risk too. He wasn't that perfect boy anymore that everyone made him out to be inside. I mean, from the outside, it looked like he was because he was dating a girl. But so I like how each character grew and developed. I like the side couple with Scott and Kip. Would like to see more of them for sure. So yeah, season 2 is renewed, and I guess it is based on this book called The Long Game. So I'll try to read both of those. Or the books before season 2 drops. So let me know down below, what did you think of this show? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you think of the characters and the relationships? And I'll see you guys soon. Bye, everyone.